Welcome back to Deeper Dive Podcast. We have a great guest on today. This is someone that I actually really enjoy talking to because the conversations are always very deep, knowledgeable, and very expansive. So, get ready. Hi, Coda.
Yes, my sister.
So, who is Kolef and what do you do?
Wow. What do I do? Okay, who am I? Kolef. I am a man, a black man. I don't know. Who am I? Great question. I suppose I am a developing carer because I think that covers a multitude of the who more than the what. I care for nature, people, things, injustices. I suppose I'm just a carer.
Interesting.
Actually, I realized that, I realized I was just reasoning with myself and I'm like, you know what? I'm a lover, not a fighter. I can fight out there.
What you'd rather not.
But I am a lover when I really peel back the layers of myself. I love loving. It feels nicer.
It does. I love love
Yeah.
in all its forms and all its glory. So, if I was to, even though we don't like labels, but if I was to label you within this holistic community, what type of title would you give yourself so people understand what it is that you do?
So I like to think of myself in this area as a naturopathic environmentalist. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it describes the things that I believe bring results as far as healing is concerned
Right.
and thriving. Because that's another thing with healing. It's like, oh, I'm alive. You know, me have me whole heap of tablet if you take what, me alive. And that's not healing. Healing is thriving, feeling like you have a new lease of life and actually having one.
Definitely.
Like,
Definitely agree. Definitely agree. I couldn't say that better if I tried. You explain that. Definitely on point. So, what was the transformational point in your life that brought you to become this version of self with so much knowledge within the health industry?
well, with everything else, really, whatever anyone is, it really tells you who they are because we respond to pain, most of us. So with me, it was pain driven. It was having a disease called gallstone disease
Right.
and refusing to have the gallbladder taken out. So going through those attacks for the period of about 7 years, sometimes more frequently than some, the pain of that forced me into a rabbit hole of knowledge to get results. From there, it was experimentation upon myself, guinea pigging,
Right.
traveling, and just being deliberate. It was the number one thing was for me to survive. So I became my own doctor. And the best doctors do become their own doctors because we're all the same, really.
Right.
People, everyone's different. I can eat this and no, we're all the same. My heart is where your heart is. If I go to your anatomy of your body, I can tell exactly where your heart is and I can't physically see it because we're all the same. So if I'm gonna fix my body, it's like, oh, now I know how all bodies can fix from fixing my body. And not just fixing it, but building it
Right.
to greatness.
Now, when you say gallbladder disease, can you explain a little bit more thoroughly as to what that is for those that don't understand, and what could be a cause just one cause of that? Because I know it can come from multiple different things. But what could be one cause of that? And then how did you heal that?
So it comes from, we all will have, with this modern diet, cholesterol stones
Right.
within the gallbladder, due to fats and sugars,
Mm-hmm.
processed fats and processed sugars. I think we was talking before there. There's simple fats, simple, simple fats, and complex fats.
Right.
Simple sugars, simple proteins, complex proteins. We want to eat the simple foods, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're eating these complex ones, these processed ones. So now they're complex, and our bodies are. It's harder for our bodies to break them down,
Definitely.
right? So this is going to have an accumulation or a backup of bile
Mm-hmm.
and cholesterol that create these stones. And so everyone will have them. It's
Mm-hmm.
just they're at the back of the gallbladder. They're nowhere near the common bile duct that connects the liver,
Mm-hmm.
gallbladder, and pancreas
Right.
to the duodenum, which is the first section of the small intestine.
Right.
Yeah, which deals with absorption. That's where all the juices are
Mm-hmm.
to begin to extract. The other portions of the intestines do other things, but anyway, let's get back
Right.
to where we need to be going.
We can end up diving deep.
Yeah. So the stones are away from the common bile duct, and the common bile duct is where the pain is. If they go into the
Right.
common bile duct, it's getting rammed into this tiny little tube
Mm-hmm.
that's responsible for these delicate enzymes and hormones to break down foods. It's
Mm-hmm.
connecting the liver, gallbladder, pancreas, and stomach into the duodenum. It's
Right.
a major thing, and now there's a stone getting rammed in there. So it's horrific pain, and
Mm-hmm.
so it should be, because your life is at risk. If that common bile duct is not doing its job, you ain't digesting, you ain't going to get nutrition because you
Right.
can't digest. And we know health is, you're healthy if you're sick if there is toxicity or deficiency.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't afford to have a deficiency because you will be sick. So the common bile duct must be usable. That's why the pain is so horrific.
Right.
I believe, obviously, in hindsight, looking back, because obviously people get sick. And obviously, but I don't think there's that kind of pain. But anyway, that's a long way round of saying that was the purpose of the discipline, my ability to absorb pain, sit in pain,
Mm-hmm.
read pain, accept pain from God, accept that God is doing something bigger than me, accept that I'm strong enough to live through that pain.
Right.
Remember that I've been in pain before. I've broken arms, I've had fights, I've been in car crashes, and I've been in terrible pain before. And here I am today, not in pain. So it is for a season, and all of the things, and to be able to sit and be still. And that's where genius and things are extracted.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I became what I am today. It was the natural flow
Mm-hmm.
and the current of whatever it was the Almighty was pushing me to
Right.
via my external reality.
So I know that when they diagnosed you with these things, I had when I was living in a shared property, I had one of my housemates literally just drop to the floor in her room in excruciating pain, and I heard her. So I've gone. I had to literally push the door because she was at the door. And when I went, she's literally vomiting blood. It's crazy. I was in the hospital with her all day, and they said she's got gallstones. So they had to operate in order to take them out. Obviously, I'd tell her certain things that she needs to change within her diet. One being more water, because we know that helps the breakdown of all those residues, what's going to bind up and create that in the first place. So, how did you get rid of those out of your body? Because I know they need to be extracted in some way, shape, or form.
So, like I was sharing with you earlier, these things are always easy. Pear juice,
Mm-hmm.
all I have to do is drink pear juice on a disciplined kind of level
Right.
and abstain from complex fats
Mm-hmm.
and complex sugars for a season, as a matter of fact. So, I could have drank apple juice, is the same pectin that would have dissolved the stones. I could have used a castor oil compress, which is getting organic castor oil, saturate a cloth till it's totally soaked through, put it on the liver, cling film all the way round so it doesn't drip the oil, and then just leave it there and just have a good 5 hours of that a day. Do that 5 days a week. That would have got rid of the stones. I got rid of the stones by killing parasites first, preparing myself to extract the stones using apple juice and pear juice, not to dissolve them, but to shave off the sharp edges. But I should have used my common sense and think, hang about it, but couldn't it just continue to erode the stones? But nonetheless, I had found this cleanse, and I'm going to do it on the tin, because this lady gets results and she's showing pictures of stones. So I've done it according to the letter. I'd cleansed, I was on the pear juice and apple juice for 2 weeks, doing the parasite cleanse also, because now we're going to release a lot of stones and rubbish from the liver. Parasites will be connected to them, and we don't want them being set free to just go all over the body.
Most definitely.
So we kill them first, so then when we're ready to extract the liver, we're not polluting at the same time. So then I basically done a liver gallbladder flush, and I became a master at liver gallbladder flushes. Like, I'm the king.
You see, now I love this because I realized through my own journey that we have to be put through these things in order for us to then help others with the same thing. Because now we're learning through our own pain, through our own struggles, through our own journey. And that's the greatest thing, that we're being used as, the template in order to help others. So I could totally understand how that would then make you able to master that particular part of that. Was there a certain amount of these that you actually extracted it from your body?
I stopped counting after 2000,
Wow.
and the lady, Hulda Clark, she's passed away now. Or she's transitioned, is the new phraseology. She's transitioned, and her book is called A Cure for All Diseases.
Right.
And this is what I was saying to you. Anytime you find a healer, they've got one thing and think this is doing everything. Or they haven't, I don't think they've had a download from the Almighty. Because Jesus will come and tell you, just speak it, and that's my healing. I'm not in no long talk. Talk your healing, and we're gone back to Galilee.
He said, for
Get
those
the
of you that
donkey,
don't
hurry
know,
up.
he is such a comedian. Trust me, like, he's hilarious. So you're going to hear that throughout this journey.
So everyone's got, like Dr. Sebi, mucus. I don't take about no talk. Like, Dr. Sebi, are you sure we don't need some vitamin C? No, mucus. Everyone's got, so as you look at naturopaths and healers through my journey, they've got one thing, and that's the thing that they're getting results from.
But it makes sense, because if they're focusing on one thing, someone else is going to be focusing on something else. And, you could actually come together and do a great retreat or do you know what I mean? Like, it would be powerful to do such a thing.
That's the beauty of healing, because that one thing, if you speak it, you be healed. If you stop if you change to a proper pH balanced diet, you be healed. If you focus on the hydration, you be healed. Breath work, you be healed. No matter what, you're gonna get there through any method. So it's about your spirit.
Right.
And being true to that intuition and going and banging your head, because a lot of the pains and sufferation I went through was just organs just no longer working anymore, because I've overdosed on herbs that I didn't know how strong they were and could have died. So
you had to experiment, right?
I had to experience it. I'm not promoting people do that, because there's so much information on the internet. Ask ChatGPT, is this herb safe? To what quantity should I have this herb, do you reckon? And have a conflab with ChatGPT. You have that now. But there is something about pain that to me is so glorious, that if we could only sit in it and like it, we actually realize that's where heaven is, because you can't, it's the signaling of the now.
Right.
Anytime there's pain, people respond now. It's like they talk about people who are rich and people who are poor. People are only poor because they don't feel the pain of being poor,
Mhm.
because they're not responding right now.
Mhm.
If I set you on fire, you don't care about rich and poor, you care about water and out fire.
Of course.
You're responding now. If
Mhm.
there's an emergency with someone you love, you don't care about no uni course, you don't care about none of that. You're going to respond now. The pain has caused you to respond and bring you into the now.
And this is why I feel like it takes illnesses more time or not for people to really start to take their health seriously. So you're right. That's fully right. So, what places internally did that journey, that transformational journey, having that dis-ease within the body take you to?
I suppose it took me to a land of realizing that there's a level of petulance and childishness about me,
Mm-hmm.
and that needed to grow up. We don't give credit to people that are laid up in hospital beds and always service you with a smile, because you didn't even know that their hip was hot in them until everyone's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's little Cynthia, she's the daughter who looks after mummy.
Mm-hmm.
She hears it. Get this up now, man, and hurry up now, come quick. But we all got the smiles and all of that, you see, and there's something about those people. And to me, that's the journey, because the journey is observation.
Right.
So when we talk about this journey, we seem to think we're the drivers,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not. But we are intellectualizing and making sense of a roller coaster ride that we are strapped into.
Mm-hmm.
We are really observers.
Most definitely.
And once we get that, you will accept whatever comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes pleasure and pain and everything else just a reflection of you, for you to recognize who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You are hurt, you are in pain, you are happy, you are sad. It's just a reflection of you.
Right.
And the more you become, the more you lean to the one end of the pendulum, the
Mm-hmm.
pleasure end, is that's what you'll experience in your life. And then you're now imagining that you're in love,
Mm-hmm.
or that you've got some successful business, or that you're in Jamaica and you're doing these things in the third dimensional plane.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, you're somewhere in some matrix looking coffin imagining this because you're
Interesting.
thinking it, and you're becoming something new on a mentalism level.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. Yo, like you went
Bit
so
deep.
deep then.
Yeah, tiny.
Like you
Bit
went in,
deep.
but I get it and I understand it. Um, it's interesting because I've always thought, are we tethered to, we say higher self, for instance, like, are we literally tethered to a higher self that is in a different plane somewhere, literally observing us, having this journey because they want to experience all of these things and feelings and emotions, and all of those things don't exist within that plane. So they have to be here, like, even if it's pain, it's hurt, it's sadness, it's happiness, it's all something that you feel, and to be able to feel a cut and all of these things, it literally is experiences. But sometimes we probably do indulge in some more than others, and it can outweigh. But at the same time, it's like, okay, can we map out and make this our own reality by our own doing, or is it all just controlled? And you only get to those answers by experimenting and looking at things and using affirmations and doing your yoga and doing your stretches and doing your breath work and doing all these things that are access points to reach those enlightened places inside of self, because it all comes back to self anyway.
Mm, I like the word go back
Mm-hmm.
more than to reach.
Mm-hmm.
I only ever feel lost when I'm away from my journal and away from my, I wouldn't say prayer mat, or away from my altar,
Right.
away from my cave.
Hmm.
That's the only time I feel like, hang about. Like I was saying to you before, like why is weed used or with
Mm-hmm.
these other things? Because it's like there's a feeling of, am I missing something,
Mm-hmm.
or have I forgot something? There's a certain level of uncertainty, and like I say, it doesn't have to be this big trauma thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just stop for a bit and centralize.
Right. Right.
I write who I am every day.
Mm-hmm.
I am this and I do that. Oh yeah, I go to the shop and get this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll pick up that for her, and I'll get this for him, and I'll see that. And I write my life,
So it's being a narrator of your story.
creator, narrator,
Mm-hmm.
giving birth to the feelings, creating the fertile ground for those feelings to go into, and watering said ideas
Mm-hmm.
of said fertile ground of mind
Mm-hmm.
with things that reaffirm that in actual three-dimensional life
Right.
deliberately, which is living on purpose.
Right.
So you're like, did you do an accident? No, I did it on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I'm living in my purpose when I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing things on
On
purpose,
purpose. Yeah.
because I'm on purpose,
I
not
love
off
that.
purpose. And it's really that simple, and
Mm-hmm.
it's that, and that compounds to create the you that you're unpurposely living
Mm-hmm.
out and doing actions in accordance to.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you said a lot again. So I definitely know that the actions that we put in literally come about after. The thoughts that we think come about after. It's always like a delayed reaction of what then occurs as a manifestation. So that there, what you're talking about with journaling, I used to journal a lot and stuff. And it's only through having conversations with you of late that I realized, oh, I need to get back on my thing here because it's something that used to really help me to see where I'm at. And now, what helps me see where I'm at is Facebook memories. Facebook memory pops up, and I've said something, and I see that I've done a whole cycle and come back to the same point again. And I'm like, what? How did you come back to the same point? You felt this way that day last year. What's going on there? So now I realize there's something to focus on, there's something to actually heal there, or just for me to observe, or just for me to come out of. There's a cage that I'm in that I've literally wrapped myself in, cocooned myself in, and didn't realize it. I need to shed that layer of self and now become anew. So, what you said there about journaling is definitely something I'm taking on board now. Because I stopped that and it's not been good for me to do that because I've realized the gap that it's caused and the
The gap
necessity.
between what?
Me and myself. I say me and myself like they're two separate things, but it can be sometimes. It can be that you become of the world and of the things that you're absorbing and consuming. Of the food you're consuming, of the things you're watching, of the people you're around. And then sometimes that brings you further from self. So you feel like that version of you is you, and it's actually not. And then when you shed, oh, okay, there you are. There you are. So yeah, it's the reemergence of me, but to a better level. I don't even like to say higher too much because I feel like it's just a different timeline more than a higher. Oh, I'm higher level than you. Well, no, you're just on a whole other timeline that's adjacent to mine, and it's different there, and that's okay. That's okay. Your bandwidth's
Yeah.
bigger. That's okay. That's okay. Do you know what I mean? Like the memory that you have is bigger. That's okay. Do you know what I mean? Someone could be working on a 16 megabytes. I'm working on a freaking 32, 100, 200. That's okay. Doesn't mean I'm better. I just can expand more because I've had more experiences and I've observed more. And then maybe my previous lives, I've literally expanded so much in those that in this life, I just came in on a different timeline than you. So there's so much different ways that it can be looked at. See, this
Wow,
conversation I knew was going to be
you
good.
said a lot.
Your turn, yeah?
Ooh. Yeah, that was deep. But I was right there with you. I knew I was. I fully understand. Like I fully understand that. Yeah, man.
So, all I'm going to ask now is what does mindset mean to you?
Oh, we've been here before.
Yeah.
I don't like the mindset because everything is flow. Um, any mindset. Well, I don't care. You got to be baptized in Jesus' name and receive the Holy Ghost for the remission of sins, brother. It's a mindset. Oh, and watch some person causing trouble. Am I going to hell if I don't get baptized? Say to them, yes. God. And I'm like, yo, these are mindsets. It's not flow. No matter what, you're flowing anyway. The person you are yesterday, you ain't gonna be that today.
Right.
So for me, again, it's more imagination, focus, and patience. More than saying mindset. Imagine it. Let's be more, because people just say things like mindset and common sense and jack of all trades, and people like me don't know what's happening. So I feel like saying things like imagination, focus, and patience. Imagine something, imagine it, and imagine all the details, the smell. Is there anxiety? Is there fear? Is there excitement? Is there hate? Is there love, passion? Feel it in that imagination. Live it and put details and tentacles to it. Then, once you've imagined it, focus on that imagination. So, that imagination is your visualization in the morning and at night, both is with the sun. This is when you're tapping into your third eye now. It's that inner imagination. It's with the sun. So lights out is another thing we're going to talk about environmentally.
Ooh,
and then from there, we focus on that imagination in our actual life. So now we deliberately and purposefully focus on, oh, yeah, I imagined I'm going to be in Jamaica. I'm focusing on that. Oh, let me see some flights. Let me do. Do I want to go all inclusive? Airbnb. I'm focusing on it. And then I'm patient. I'm not chasing it. I'm not chasing it at all. And that would naturally bring about the conversations, the advertisements, the things that connect you with the thing.
the alignment.
Right. So when we say mindset, it's set for what?
If it's set, then there's no changes that can actually happen. Yeah.
So yeah, I get it, like we were saying, religion and things is good in certain instances. But for me, whether you have a good life or not depends upon the collection of feelings you've managed to muster. You create your own feelings, and if you are good at creating good feelings, you would have had a good life. If you're not good at creating good feelings, you would have had a not good life.
Agreed. And I feel like children are masters of that. So much so. Like I always use the example, and it was something that came to me by seeing it happen in a supermarket. A child will throw a tantrum because you don't want to get them the sweets that they want. It's in this beautiful coloured packet. It's pink. It's their favourite colour. I want that. You don't want to get it them. So they're throwing a tantrum on this floor and they're spazzing out. Give them 10 minutes. Absolutely fine again. I love you, mommy. Giving her the biggest hug. They're talking about something else and they're talking about the cat. And so they didn't hold on to that. And I feel like the reason why they didn't hold on to that because they was allowed to really express their emotions at that moment in time and burst it all out, process it, flush out the system. whether that be shaking it all out because they're throwing themselves around the place, screaming it all out because they're allowed to actually bout their voice at the top of their voice, but they was allowed to actually process those emotions in a way that the body didn't hold on to them, and then now they've let it go. I feel like so many people hold on to things and it holds their heart hostage and holds them in a state of imprisonment because they don't want to actually move forward from that space. So their life is not good. It's not great.
I'm listening to you,
Mm-hmm.
and I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking that I will be beaten if I thought I could have a fit in the shop. And
Definitely.
I also have to be true that I cannot stand
Mhm.
when children are exhibiting delinquency and their parents are saying things like you just said, oh, he's having his emotional experimentations. Or whatever it is, he's like, no, he's bloody not. You're going to rein it in, mate. So there's also that reality that I feel and believe should be an orderly thing.
I feel like most parents do that because they feel shame and guilt, which a child doesn't feel guilt or shame until it's taught. You know, they don't know how something is shameful. They just do what they want to do, to say what they want to say. But I feel like it's taught to them by adults. So more time than not, the adults shh, shh,
I
because
think
they
it,
don't want anyone looking.
I think it's more self-control
Mm-hmm.
and personal accountability.
Right.
It's more being reasonable and being rational.
Mm-hmm.
My children, I'm the health freak
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the word is, whatever. But your children can have sweets if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
The children can have chocolates if they want to. My thing is this: when you eat,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, if you want to eat that, cool. 12 and 5, y'all do what y'all want to do. 12 and 5 don't have nothing in between. It's as simple as that. 12 and 5 don't have nothing in between. Can we have donuts, Dad? Don't ask me no question, 'cause I'm gonna tell you no. If your conscience wants to have donuts, have the donuts, innit? That's between you and God.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But if you can have it at 12 and 5 every day with them digestive secretions ready to go and to churn through things, if you can take this little psyllium husk capsule
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna align your whole body with this gloop of fiber and block the glucose going into your bloodstream.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to have this 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar with a half a little cup of water, neck that too. So now again, you're just blitzing through all the glucoses and you're keeping your insulin levels down. Before you cheat, if you want to cheat the cheat,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And then when they apply those efforts, it goes from I've got 5 donuts to I had 1 donut and a cup of hot chocolate. That's a win.
Right.
So it's like there's always ways to do the thing. There's a feeling. Do you want the donut or the feeling? Do you want the burger or the feeling? Well, how do I get the feeling and not die?
Mm-hmm. So you said cheat to cheat. I like that. Obviously, we're always looking for cheat codes, right? How do you live life? How do I get rich? How do you do this? How do we do that? We're always looking for some type of cheat code. Like we're still 6 and play Mario. What is part of our life is part of what we do. So you said the body between 12 and 5. Explain it. What's going on between 12 and 5 with the body?
No, that's eating times.
Mm-hmm.
Eating times.
Right?
So 12 o'clock again. It's sun. It's sun worship. I say that just to provoke people into action.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously not worshiping the sun and asking the sun for our rent money.
Get that vitamin
The
D.
wickedest thing, the sun will give the rent money quicker than some of these invisible gods. Yeah? Because the sun will say, yeah, man, we'll put thing in the ground, then we'll come shine upon it. You get me? The sun ain't gonna deny you, rich or poor, free and bond. The sun ain't gonna deny you. But essentially, we do see the colours of, like, again, I'm a naturopath, naturalist, environmentalist,
Mm-hmm.
red, yellow, orange, purple, green, indigo, violet, turquoise, burgundy. we see these colors because these are the foods we're supposed to eat.
Right.
It's literally based on our survival. So we are frugivores,
Mm-hmm.
number one. And sorry, what was it? I've lost my chain of thought.
We talk about the body from 12 to 5.
Okay, the body from 12 to 5.
Certain juices that it excretes in order to break down food. So,
Perfect.
yeah.
So our bodies are aligned with the sun when the sun's at its highest.
Mm-hmm.
So now the sun at its highest is bringing in nutrients now from the ground into the plant and into the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
So the fruit has more nutrients at 12 than it does at 6 in the morning, because all the nutrients have come back down, you see, and gone back down into the roots.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the sun's at its highest, it drags it back up. So we now at 12, as frugivores, seeing red, yellow, purple, burgundy, turquoise, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
blue, we come and pick these colors at that time when all the nutrients are in them.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we've been environmentally bred to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when we're at our highest. That's when our digestive secretions are ready to go at its optimum.
So you were saying something before about the fact of, yes, we are frugivores, but at the same time, the environment also matters. Can you expand on that as to why we wouldn't be a frugivore, for instance, constantly within this environment where we are right now, and why it's okay to be that in Bali?
Again, because all we have to do is look at winter. It's brown, it's grey. So there is no fruit, there is no yellows and oranges unless you go to Sainsbury's. But when you look outside, it's all dead. And you may see an evergreen. So this is what I would say, controversially, if you're going to be in the winter, you're in a meat eating environment. Whether you eat meat or not is up to you. But you are in an environment where those minerals in the red, yellow, green, and purples and blues are stored in something else. So it will be secondhand, which is going to be flesh. It's stored in those animals. That's the environment. It's a carnivorous environment. So whether someone eats meat or not, and they want to be a vegan or whatever, good or bad, it's up to them. But it's about understanding your environment. And like I was even saying, I think we spoke about the water last time, and just having water that's not heated. So I don't like calling it cold water, even though it's very cold. It's not cold water, it's just water that hasn't been bastardized to pretend that, you know what I'm trying to say? Because water takes on the shape, temperature, and everything of its environment. It tells you the truth. So in January, February, March, have a cold bath and see if you like your environment, because that cold bath isn't a cold bath, it's the truth of your environment. If your body doesn't like it, then maybe your body doesn't like it here in general.
Wow. So it's all about the water holding memory and information of what the surroundings actually have within it, and seeing if it actually resonates with your body, which is mostly water too. That makes sense. That hits hard for me. That hits hard for me. What one thing within the health industry still annoys you or frustrates you or even surprises you?
I would have to say the lack of self-love. When people can be healed, it's right there. I don't know if it's like what any coach has this issue, whether it's someone has a goal. It's just a goal, really. And as a health coach, I suppose. But for me, I kind of think my thing is the most important. Everyone's got their own thing, and God does this. Shut up, please. Mine's is the most important, because without mine, you're dead. So you haven't got any money or education or the black power, you see, because you'll be dead. So there wouldn't be anything without health. So for me, it annoys me when people put education. It's like you stage 4 cancer. I think you should leave your course. No, I can't.
Mhm.
It's hearing that over and over again. That is something that it doesn't I don't allow it to frustrate me, but it does. But I've quietened the buzzing noise of
Mhm.
it because there's something deep rooted. It makes me feel like, man, this is a waste of time. There's something deep. There's a different healing that needs to take place.
Mhm.
Like you have a whole terminal illness and you're still going to work.
Because they're putting the importance on having to pay the bills and having to cover everything within their household. And if I don't work, I can't actually pay you. And if I don't work, I can't actually buy anything. And so, to an extent, I want to say to an extent, I get it, but I really don't. So, I don't even want to say that, even for lack of a better word. I don't want to. Because obviously, health comes first. Do you know what I mean? Health's going to buy more time in order for you to actually do the things that you need to do to be, fruitful. So I totally agree with you. That is something that has to be taken as a high importance. It should be the first importance, most definitely.
For me, it's not a case of should. It is whether you like it or not.
Hmm.
It's more important than your God.
Hmm.
And people don't like that. But it's a fact. You communicate with your God through okay, God is the line that would be whatever, whoever you pay your bill to. And you are the iPhone or the Samsung. You just have a chip. You ain't getting far, mate. Oh, my screen's cracked. You're not having a good experience. You don't even know who's calling. Or I can't ring out, but I can receive calls. It's dead again. Or I can call out, but I can't receive. Dead again. I can hear you, but you can't hear me. You're just send a text, but I can hear you. You can't hear me. It's always dead. You have to pattern your thing properly.
Hmm.
You understand?
Totally agree.
Because that's your experience with the Vodafone or with the line or the Spirit.
Hmm.
The one thing